Good evening, Lake Orion. Well, it's a steamy, hot day. I'm your host, and I am between Taorminas. Yes, indeed. This is Between Taorminas here on ONTV. I'm your host, Anthony Taormina. Sammy, how you doing?
Hanging in there.
And for those of you wondering where Ian Weatherspoon is, don't worry, we have a third segment devoted to him. So we'll figure that out, and we'll go on and we'll start talking about subjects. We've got college football we want to talk about.
High school? Want to go high school?
Well, let's go college first.
Okay.
So let's talk about Michigan State having to survive Utah State, Michigan losing to Notre Dame, and Penn State almost getting the Appalachian State bug. So let's talk about Michigan State first.
You know what? This is their DNA. 18 fourth quarter comeback wins. It's always, they love the dramatics. Michigan State loves the dramatics. And they have a quarterback in Brian Lewerke who had a nice game. He had 2 touchdowns except for that pick 6. It's interesting to see, that Michigan State, they should not have been in that situation in the first place. Now, Utah State, they're sneaky good. They're going to be a sleeper team in that Mountain West. And to run that no huddle, it's very similar to Ohio State runs. But for Michigan State, for them to pull it out, I think it's going to help them in the long haul. Their defense still concerns me, particularly hanging the Arizona State game, where Arizona State runs a 3-3-5 defense. Herm Edwards is a good coach, as we know. I got concerns about that game with Michigan State, especially watching them play against Utah State. It's a tough sell for me. But I think if you look at it here, as long as the Lewerke plays well, LJ Scott's going to have to play better. But when I look at the stats deep down, defensively, Michigan State held Utah State to 25 yards rushing. 25 yards.
That's
the
not
problem
bad.
for me is their passing attack. You know what I mean? I'm very, very concerned about the passing.
A secondary.
A secondary in the despite the injury to Josiah Scott, but the passing game scares me. The passing game, especially on defense, scares me a little bit. Offensively, I'm not worried about this group. I really am not. Even though Lewerke had that bad pick 6 against Utah State, but I think Michigan State's offense right now, they're playing okay, and as long as Brian Lewerke stays healthy, running and passing, this Michigan State team's going to be fine going forward.
Let's talk about Michigan and Notre Dame. Michigan lost very similar fashion to what we've seen. The struggles of the offensive line. Notre Dame's a good team, but still,
Yes,
Michigan's got
Notre Dame's a good
issues.
team. Michigan's got big issues.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is atrocious. What I don't understand, and this all comes down to Jim Harbaugh. Here's a guy that makes $9 million a year, and to have that product on the field, it's pathetic. You look at Michigan football, they're on a 4-game losing streak. The last coach to have a 4-game losing streak was Rich Rodriguez. Brady Hoke never had a 4-game losing streak when he coached in Ann Arbor. And when you look at Michigan, and their offensive line is not that good. When you look at that team, they're not. That's going to be the weakness of Michigan football. Now, their defense, I was shocked how they gave up 21 against Notre Dame.
Early.
I was shocked how they gave up 21 points. I mean,
They did improve as the game went on, though.
they got better, but still the damage has already been done. I mean, when you look at it, this is virtually the same Michigan team that we saw last year. It is. And at the end of the day here, if that offensive line does not improve, Michigan fans are going to be, woe is me, looking at another 8-4, maybe 9-3 season, and people are going to talk about Jim Harbaugh. Now, I know Michigan's president said Jim Harbaugh's job is safe, but, you got to question, where is the direction of this football program is going?
You notice the record against Michigan State and Ohio State for Jim Harbaugh. It's almost on par with Brady Hoke.
It is. I mean, it's 1-8 all time against Michigan State and Ohio State. Rich Rodriguez had a worse record than that. It's basically, I mean, like, for Michigan fans, this is really bad for them. Really, really bad. And if you're Michigan, that if your offensive line does not show up against Western Michigan, and
Western Michigan's not a bad team.
They're not a bad team. Tim Lester's a really good coach.
Yep. Very good program.
But if that offensive line gets outplayed, out-hustled, then you see Shea Patterson on the ground, I think Michigan's in a lot of trouble, especially with that schedule they still got to play. They have Wisconsin in Ann Arbor. They have Penn State in Ann Arbor. They have to go to East Lansing. You have to go to Columbus. That's not going to be easy games for Michigan heading forward.
Let's talk about Penn State. This was September 1st. You remember when Appalachian State went into a certain place and won.
I give a golf clap to that because I know Bob Bridges and people like Bob Bridges, Ron Bellamy.
For the record, please explain who both of them are.
Bob Bridges has been a frequent guy on this show. Ron Bellamy, of course, coached football at West Bloomfield.
Also a Michigan alum.
And I could tell how happy they were after the Appalachian State loss. That made me so happy. But anyway, I was really happy about that game. But in the Penn State game, I thought it was going to be deja vu all over again. Heck, even Joey almost celebrated like crazy that Appalachian State almost did.
I would have bet you a lot of Michigan fans would have been rooting for Appalachian State because then at least Penn State, who was, if you remember, when Michigan lost, Penn State was one of those teams that was really, really celebrating Michigan's loss to Appalachian State. And Penn State would have had to join them.
Well, when you look at Penn State, they got some issues defensively. And Appalachian State's not bad. I mean, they really are not. I mean, they should have won that game against Penn State. They had their chances. But in the day, Penn State found a way to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was in overtime, too. And Penn State benefited from a couple of Appalachian State mistakes, especially on defense. So, anything else impress you in the college football year?
Well, Ohio State, of course, looked good. Maryland
they gave up a lot of points.
31 Oregon State, but they put up 77.
I know.
Maryland shocking Texas. Who I'm very happy for the kids over there at College Park, especially what they've had to go through. Winning that one over Texas. Florida State, couldn't believe what happened to them. They got whooped. Auburn surviving Washington. Alabama as Alabama.
LSU being the U.
LSU over Miami. That was a shocker for me. Couldn't believe that they held Miami, I believe, to just 10 points. That was 17 points. And
right.
That's shocking enough. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens week 2. Be really, really interesting.
Michigan State at Arizona State.
Big one there.
You got to really stay up for that one. That's a 10:45 at night start.
I'm going to probably get some sleep early in that one, and then I'm going to watch that whole game.
Then Michigan playing Western Michigan. That'll be an interesting game at the Big House.
That game's going to be very interesting. I think Western Michigan, even though they had a tough loss to Syracuse, they held tough with them. Don't be surprised if this is a 1 or 2 touchdown game heading into the fourth quarter in that one, because I don't trust Michigan's offensive line. I think their offensive line is atrocious. In the Michigan State-Arizona State game, that's going to be a heck of a game. I expect Michigan State to pull that one out, very similar to what happened against Utah State. I think that end of the day, I think Brian Lewerke going home is going to be the difference maker in that game.
All right, we will be right back between Taorminas here on ONTV.
Orion Township Parks and Rec invite you to come out for the Closet Clean Out Community Garage Sale on Friday, September 21st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dozens of sellers will be offering a wide variety of household items, home decor, clothing, electronics, and more in the Orion Center. Then on Saturday, September 22nd, the Toy and Comic Expo will be taking place from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Vendors will be offering comics, action figures, Hot Wheels, collectibles, and more. Parking and admission is free to the public. The Orion Center is located at 1335 Joslin Road in Orion Township. For more information, call 248-391-0304 extension 3500 or visit orionparks.com.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. I'm your host, Anthony Taormina. Sammy, how you doing?
Hang in there.
So, you wanted to talk about high school football a little bit.
A little bit.
What's your take on it?
Not a lot to talk about, in the Lake Orion area. Despite the fact Lake Orion's off to an 0-2 start.
Got to give the opponent some credit too, though.
Yeah, got to. But there's some concerns. The defense has been on the field way too much. Time possession football, that's been a big problem for this group. I compared it to the Phil Jackson book, the 03-04 Los Angeles Lakers. And, I'll go more in depth on it in the podcast.
Well, you look at in the OAA in particular, you notice that it seems like that it's every year it's always a tough conference.
But if you win those games,
you get rewarded.
You. It gets rewarded. So basically it's like a double-edged sword. So I'm looking at it from this perspective is got to get better. You got to get better, and then of course it's how you respond, and it's if you can keep this team together, because I know this team's frustrated. I know this team's frustrated.
They want to win.
There's a lot of pressure on this team, and right? Is the season still? It's still
It's still there.
They're still there. I mean, all hope is not lost. I mean, they got to start this week against Rochester Adams, and that's not going to be an easy game, especially because Adams has opened up their new field, and of course Adams runs that veer option offense, which is a very similar to Oxford ran a little bit against Lake Orion on Friday night.
Well, what Oxford did, though, and you got to give them props for that, is yes, they run the typical power and dive, but
veer.
they also ran some veer. They also ran some quarterback option, and you just you just got to give them props for that too.
You just got to give them props and move on. That's all you got to do.
And just like we said with Lapeer too, you got to give Lapeer some props.
Got to give them props and move on.
So, but my question is with how it seems like with the OAA, the toughest teams are in the red, and then in the white you've got three really good teams.
I'm not in the room with that, but it's at the end of the day, it's how you respond, and and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to explain what's going on with this team. It really is. It's really hard to explain what's going on with the league. I mean, if either you have it or you don't. And right now, it's not looking good right now for Lake Orion right now. It is not.
But it can be fixed.
It can be fixed. It can be fixed.
It just, but just got to get better, simply put. I mean, that's the thing is, and I think Coach Blackstock has said it in the media pretty. It's been pretty good.
I go more into depth on this in the podcast.
Right, you do.
And I do want to talk Lions, though.
Okay.
I do want to talk Lions.
Let's talk Lions.
They're terrible.
Why?
Because, and I know even Joey can run on this Lions team. That's how bad this team is.
Please explain who Joey is.
Joey Tice is is a worker for ONTV, nice guy, has his own podcast. But anyway, back to my point.
Just a nice guy who runs his own podcast?
Yes. Now, besides my point,
Okay.
here is why the Lions are struggling. And it's because they don't have a pass rush, their defense is atrocious, and their offense is a mimic. Now, I'm not sure Matt Patricia saved a lot of his special stuff or anything. If the Lions, I'm seeing the Lions possibly winning 4 games this year. Just 4.
Why?
Because their offense is a mimic, and their defense is atrocious. They don't have pressure. Their line is awful.
What's your take on the Chicago Bears getting Oakland's best
Khalil
defensive
Mack,
player?
I like him. I like it because it tells me Chicago is wanting to make strides to improve their team. And the Lions, on the other hand,
They tried to get him.
they tried to get him, but you know what? He didn't want to go to Detroit. But it is what it is. He's in the division. He's in the NFC North.
That's not fun.
The favorite in the NFC North is the Minnesota Vikings. That's the Green
Didn't
Bay
the NFC
Packers.
North get better?
Yes, Minnesota's better. Chicago's better. Even Green Bay got better with the emergence of Jimmy Graham over there. He's going to give Aaron Rodgers a security blanket. This Lions team is in so much trouble right now, it's not even funny.
You know what's sad about this is
This is like Jim Caldwell all over again. Jim Caldwell 2.0. That's what this Lions team is. Well, I know it. You know it. Ian Witherspoon knows it. Joey knows it. Heck, Bob Bridges knows it. And Mike Valenti knows it.
Please explain who Mike Valenti is.
If you watch I Said Won the Ticket, Mike Valenti's a good radio guy. Good man, by the way.
Yeah, right. Give me a break. Okay, so I want to talk. So you think the Lions have no chance?
Yep, no chance.
What's your take on the Tigers?
They're done for.
Is Ron Gardner the blame?
No.
What do you think Tigers need to do?
Clean house, get veterans on there.
Get veterans?
Get veterans on there. Because they're
But
sick
Victor
and tired of
Martinez
this.
is a veteran.
They're sick and tired of this youth movement. It's time to fire Al Vila. It's time to fire him.
You think the Tigers are going to?
No, but they should fire him.
Any final thoughts?
I'm telling you the truth. We all know it. Ian Witherspoon knows it. And he's not here to sit. He's not here to defend himself. I told him it for years. The Tigers are dead, dead, dead. And they are.
Speaking of Ian Weatherspoon, when we come back, we're going to talk about Ian Weatherspoon on Between Taorminas. Stay tuned. Hello, Oakland County. This is Sammy Taormina talking OA Now. In it, we'll talk various stories from ranging from the state to Oakland County teams affecting the OAA. Catch us here on OA Now. Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taormina, co-host of Between Taorminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV. Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. I'm your host, Anthony Taormina. And Sammy, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
You know, a lot of our fans have come and asked us where Ian has been at as of late. Ian's been to the doctors. Ian's been busy. Ian's been, a lot of people have wondered where
is
our
Ian?
co-host Ian Weatherspoon
Where is he at?
is at. And I had a couple conversations as I was walking. I had one conversation with a guy who, on Tuesday, I was walking, and one of our staff members was saying, "Where is Ian? Where is Ian? And it's not a lot I can say, So, yeah, there have been times where we've had Ian done the show by himself before. You've actually done a show by yourself before.
Of course.
It's just that how do we
respond to this? I mean,
how do you respond to this?
That's hard. I mean, I'll tell you that much right now. When you're putting a show together, and you expect us to show up, you expect Ian to show up, and I understand people got other commitments, but you have got to be, you got to be committed. And when I look at it, I know he's busy. He's a busy guy.
He is.
But,
you know that.
But I've had to defend him. Now, he did win the Toilet Bowl this year in miniature golf.
Yeah.
So that could be another reason why he's away, because he's still dealing with the embarrassment. But it's unfortunate that he's not here. Me arguing at him about Tigers, me talking about my issues with college football, why Michigan football should be dead, and Michigan State football should be on the rise. I know I am a Michigan State fan, but
Also, you two are the whole Tigers, and and really in a lot of ways, Ian does make Between Taorminas a better show. He does.
It's unfortunate.
Hey,
I try to make everybody happy. I try to tell people facts. Ian
is busy. Ian does live in Troy, and Ian lives in Troy, and at the same time, you
gotta respect it.
You gotta respect it. Yeah. I think that a lot of people, just don't understand how tough life can be at times, but at the same time, have you noticed when we've done BT in the summer, Ian's hardly around.
I know.
And I think
hard.
a lot of that's his schedule.
It's hard.
It's
hard.
difficult.
It's not easy.
I mean, it's just...
And it's just you and me. And
right.
It's hard.
And obviously we do bring our guests. We have had some guests we haven't had in a while.
We're going to plan on bringing some guests.
We're going to plan on bringing some guests. So but I mean, I'd like for Ian to show up. I think our viewers would like to have Ian show up.
I agree.
And I just think that, it's very bothersome to me when you've got people that are asking me, just to consider getting rid of Ian. And I don't want to do that.
No.
I don't. Ian's one of our best friends. He's been around us since 6th grade. Truly a great friend, truly one of our brothers. And and it's been difficult because when we started this journey in 2011 BT, when we started this journey as 3. We had the show every week. Was it tough? Yes, but at the same time, it's been an honor, it's been a privilege, and we will continue to do it.
Yep.
It'd be nicer, it'd just be better if Ian actually devoted some of his time to come on BT and work as hard on BT as we have. I know that Ian's still very much involved. Particularly, he does football on with a lot of our friends that we know, particularly on Sundays.
But you gotta look at time commitments.
I do.
But it is what it is. So, but we're still gonna keep on doing the show. You know what I mean? Regardless, whether he's here or not.
Right, but I mean, it would be a preference to have him here.
Uh-huh.
I think that for the respect of our viewers, for the respect of you and me, I'd like to have him come on. And I mean, Ian is one of our characters on our show, and it's all 3 of us together, and yeah, we had the one time where you did the show by yourself, or Ian did the show by himself, or we just got to figure this out, you
Yes,
know?
we will. And we will.
And we will. It's just that it's
hard.
It's hard. It's very, very difficult. And I hope, Ian, I hope you're watching, my friend.
Come back.
Come back. You know, really, really come back. You're too much of a valuable asset to not be around. You should come back. You know, and hopefully you do. You know, hopefully you do. So,
Yep.
So do you wonder if we should do a poll, an ONTV poll, on what we should do in regards to Ian? Should we do an ONTV poll?
We'll see.
I mean, it's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question.
I mean, should we have him do a Between Taorminas episode by himself again? Should we have Ian go on air and
explain
and give his reasoning for why he hasn't been on?
Okay.
Do we go with it business as usual,
Well,
or A, B, and C, or all the above?
we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it's a fair question to ask.
It is.
So, any final thoughts about Mr. Weatherspoon?
Well, I know he's been disappointed with the Tigers all year. He's been disappointed with the he's going to be disappointed with the Pistons. He's going to be disappointed with the Dead Wings. You know, it looks like it's unfortunate for Mr. Weatherspoon that all the Detroit teams right now are suffering right now. And the best hope for a championship is the Lions. Please.
All right. Well, so that will do it for this episode. This will do it for this episode of Between Taorminas. We're heading to show 300 soon. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting closer.
We're slowly getting there.
We're slowly but surely we're getting there. All right. Have a great night. See you soon, Lake Orion. Take care.